host Riyad Maruf Hassan, and you're watching another episode of A Sketch of the Sky only on the Clippers. So, today we have a young author, editor, blogger, and a lot of things to count. And she's none other than the multi talented Manasi Patil. So, let us not wait and welcome the young Wonder Girl. So, hello, Manasi.
Hi, hello. Thank you so much for the invite, and I'm really looking forward to interacting with you. You're already a great friend, and this is amazing to speak out to your audience and interact with you wonderfully.
Thank you very much for accepting my invitation. And Manasi, I hope you're doing well and safe.
I am, yes. How are
Yeah,
you?
I'm also good. So, as you've said, you're a good friend of mine, and we've done a lot of projects together. And you're really a wonderful wonder girl, as I've experienced in the numerous projects we've done together. So, I have a set of some questions on behalf of the audience and also on behalf of me. So, can we start?
Yes, I can't wait to start. Let's get started.
Thank you very much. So, my first question to you is because all asks about the beginning. So, let's come with the beginning of your journey. How was the beginning of your journey as an author and also as an editor and a blogger?
Great question. Um, So it like I never started as at a particular stage or something. I have always been a passionate reader. I started reading and writing at the age of 4 or 5 around that time, and I always kept reading and writing. I have so many stories and poems and everything stacked up that I can't honestly find it at the moment because I have just misplaced it or something like that. And then I just used to keep writing. And when I was in my fourth grade, I had like my school started at 12:30 p.m. and my mother, she had to go to her job as well. So she left me at my school at 12 o'clock, and I had this half an hour in between. So in that half an hour, I used to take a notebook with me, a pen, and I used to scribble stories there, sitting near my school building. So we have these gates for our building, and then when we enter the gates, we have a huge playground and there's a shed. So I used to sit in that shed and write my stories. And at the end of the fourth grade, I had a bunch, dozens of stories stacked up, out of which I have literally none right at the moment. But yeah, I used to keep on writing, I used to keep on reading. Reading is a lot, I mean, it's very close to my heart because I am because I read, I believe that. So I just kept writing, I kept reading, but I never thought of writing a book. And then came this the pandemic of 2020. So it was a very normal evening in the month of May, I guess. And I had this instinct on a very normal evening. So I just grabbed a book, I grabbed a pen, and I started scribbling this little story. I never thought of writing a book out of that story, but I just wrote this story. And weeks later, turned out that this little story was actually the first draft of my debut book, The Cousin Scribe. So that's how it started, by all instinct. And
That's
since I
really
never
great.
thought of writing a book, yes, it's a great start because it all started on instinct and it grew up to be a lot more. So since I had no clue, that I'm going to write a book, of course I didn't know about publishing. So I just researched everything about it, the self-publishing methods, and yeah, I spent hours and weeks on this publishing process, formatting and every doing everything on my own. And my first book came out, then my second book came out, and it was really thrilling to experience everything. So I just kept on, I made my own blog, and then I joined organizations as an editor, staff writer. That's how it all started.
That's really a wonderful startup and also an inspiring journey to move forward. Even when I was young, my father comes after, just like you said, after half an hour or sometimes late. So as he's also, and he also used to stay in office, and then I used to write, means download stories, and a group of friends means surround me in a circle and used to watch me what Riyadh is doing, and let us see. Then they used to tell me, what happens if we do like this, and that's how, because imagination is really important, I believe, for creativity, and it's a really wonderful startup for you. And so, what are the ways that help you to handle academics along with the creative works, being a student?
There are these two things: time management and priorities.
Yeah,
So, first step, you make a list of what your priorities lie. So, what is like your first priority? What is your second priority? And then, when you want to do something, you want to do first thing, and then you want to do another thing as well. You have a look at the priority list, and then as per that, if thing number one is on the top, then at the moment you do that thing because that is on the top of your priority. So that is something you should implement, and that's how I manage my academics and these extracurriculars. So, and time management, if you have the will, you there's a lot you can pack in 24 hours. And I didn't used to believe this because we like how much can you do in one day? But I have come to believe that yes, you can do a lot in one day, and what matters is your will. Then you don't even need to learn the techniques and ways of managing time. It all comes to you. You just can do everything of that. So priorities and time management, that's how I do.
yeah, you're exactly right, and especially just like I said about it's about the will to do something. And I always used to say in my sessions or in my interviews, previous interviews, that when there is a will, there is a way, as quoted by many personalities. And I believe that when there is a will to do something or learn something, or when there is a will to do anything, if you want, there is always a way to solve it or to proceed forward. So
True that.
yeah, so just like I mentioned about great personality, so let's say Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam once often used to talk about the these three words: young ignited minds of India. And these young ignited minds, just and he was an inspirational buddy, and we are glad to ask one such young ignited mind today, that is you, obviously. And so my question is, how do you think creativity helps in developing a young mind to ignite?
That's an insightful question. um, First of all, I want to tell everyone why creativity is important and why you should implement it in your life. Creativity honestly helps you become the best version of yourself because when you be productive, when you're creative, it just leads you to sort of rediscover yourself and uh, check and see how much you are capable of doing and how much potential you actually have, how much caliber you actually have. So creativity helps you do everything like that, and it can reach you, it can upscale your skills and everything, and it can make you reach to your goal, your destiny, everything. So creativity is really very important. You should have it. Especially in young minds, especially in Gen Z, creativity is very important because when we are in this stage, when we are the Gen Zers at the moment, uh, we have a lot of time, we have a lot of energy, and we have the will to do things. So I believe that is very crucial to build a better future. And if you add creativity in the mix, then you just get a splendid result. It's just too superficial, and it's like, I mean, yeah, it can really help better the world and shape a better tomorrow. So I do believe that creativity is really important for young minds like we are, like yourself and my. So yeah, I hope that answers the question.
Yeah, sure it did, and it helped me, and even I hope the audience watching this. So, in this three questions, I'm uh, really inspired and really excited to ask the next questions about, because you've provided the ways about your journey. It's such a wonderful thing to proceed today in this episode. So let me come to my next question. That is, how was the moment when you got to know that you're an awardee of Young Achiever Award?
That was surreal. I mean, they had like emailed me, first messaged me like, we would like your application for this, and then I got their email that you've been selected. Oh, it was surreal because that was like the first time I ever got recognized by and forum. So it was really surreal, and till like still today, it's not believable that I have been awarded and my work has been recognized by some national forum. So it's, I mean, obviously you can see that there are no words I can describe it into. Uh, I can't really say, but it's very good and it inspires me every day when I see the trophy to go on further and work further.
That's the thing, and because I've always found a down to earth personality in you, because you have also said in previous even that whatever achievement you get, it's just a remark that asks you to move forward, to that recognizes what you've done today, and that remarks you, that makes you remember that what you have to do for tomorrow. So
Rightly said, yes.
yeah, yes. And your there is also motto you've started following, you've chosen as your life motto, that is to create a change and be the change. How do you define it in your own creative journey?
Right. So if you see like your organization, for example, the Clippers Child Council of India, it has board members of people, of students who are creating a change, who are implementing whatever their practice, whatever their principles, everything are there to create a better tomorrow. So what they are essentially doing is being the change that they want to create. They are not just talking about it, they are not just uh, putting out empty words, but they are actually taking actions to do that. So when I met these kind of people, and when I started doing all of this also, like started conducting workshops in school, interacting with other gen zers, so it struck me that Mahatma Gandhi has actually said this, right? If you want, be the change you wish to see in the world. So this is like sort of based on that. I create change. I want to create change by being the change. I do not just want to talk about superficial things like just uh, being there for humanity, tackling SDGs. I don't want to just talk about it, but also work upon that. So that is my life motto: to create a change, be the change. And I don't know what extent I implement it, but I certainly try to do it at the best of my level. Like I try to be whatever I'm preaching, I'm talking about.
That's really insightful, and I hope, and I don't hope, I can say I believe that it has motivated me in my own journey that I'm working on. And just like you mentioned about the Clippers Child Council of India, so let me say to the audience watching this, so Manasi Patil is a member of my organization, which is not my organization, we can say it's our organization. And as we say, I for illness and we for wellness, and we have done a lot of projects, just I've been saying since um the beginning. And she's really an amazing, Manasi is really amazing wonder girl, just like I mentioned. And I've also been a speaker, a host, sorry, a host with her in an event. And It's really a lot to learn from you, Manasi. And yes, thank you.
Likewise,
Yeah,
likewise,
yeah.
yeah.
When thank you for motivating us with this to create a change, be the change. It's one line quote you can say, but it defines a deep meaning. And just like as you said about the will, and even you take the hardship to means for to the will to even talk about it and to know about it. So, and because what you're doing,
Thank you.
yeah. So what you're doing is your dedication to inspire and also your do the and inspiring others to inspire. So that's a passing of knowledge you can see. So let's come to my next question. As we know you as an author, editor, blogger, book reviewer, and there is also another passion of yours that is to be an aspiring space science enthusiast. And how did you develop your interest towards it?
So space study is as much as close to my heart as reading books are. So these are the two interests that I have love for, like very deep in my life. So it started like again like reading books. I don't have a specific stage at which it started. I didn't remember it, but I do remember that I once saw this huge picture of our galaxy, Milky Way, and Earth was located on it, of course, but it was such a tiny dot. And I mean, I was so surprised that I mean, there is so much to discover, so much to learn, and so much yet to, find, explore. And on this earth, we are like in the, if you see in the bigger picture, if you see in the Milky Way galaxy's image, Earth is almost insignificant. So that made me realize, the universe is endless. It teaches you so many things. And that, I think, that developed my interest. I don't really remember what fostered my interest in it, but I just started learning after then, and it intrigues me to know how, the planets work, how the stars, everything, how they, work in the solar system and everything. So that is particular intriguing, and I love to learn about that.
Yeah, because space science is this is two words, space science, but a vast topic, just like the universe, which is expanding numerous kilometers per second. And we just did a session numerous days ago regarding that, and you've talked about it, about astrophilism, I guess. Yeah. So space science, it's really just like I said, a vast topic. And I guess one thing inspired you, and especially about the world's planetariums. Yeah, so visiting planetariums, it was whenever I went to a city, it was whenever I visited a city which has a planetarium, I used to check in Google Maps if that city has a planetarium. Then I started urging my parents to take me to planet, because when I it's not about someone, because someone who isn't an space science enthusiast, even he or she, when he looks up at the sky, or he look up at the planetarium, the asteroids and everything, the planet, the comets and everything, your eyes just go wide, and you just ponder at it.
Right, right.
Because
That's the beauty of the universe. And like just in the session that we did inclining towards astrophilism, we were like keeping on talking about this. Like it is an endless topic, and when you look at the universe, when you look at the sky, it makes you feel that you belong to the universe and you have endless potential and you can implement it to various levels. So that inspires me every day when I look up at the sky.
yeah. 'Cause, I'm not a space science enthusiast, but I have read numerous books regarding space science. I used to buy when I was I'm still young, but when I was 6 to 10 years old, I used to buy books, just like books like why, what, how, regarding those
Mm-hmm.
yeah, space science things. And I
Right.
used to,
Right.
and even I have now, and when I used to what read one page, then I finish up reading the last page. And especially when there are pictures on it, on of those asteroids, and just like, because you have, I guess, you know about, because from Earth we there is space tourism now. And recently Jeff Bezos did space, the experienced it. And you can see, not just the universe, our minds are also expanding. It's our mind, because our you can say we're our physically we are limited to height or weight, we'd say. But our imagination never stops. And not less than a second, I can if I can imagine that I'm in your city and I'm talking with you, just it's just less than a second. And in less
Right.
than a second, I can
Right.
feel like I'm moving in an you can say I'm riding an asteroid. As we've talked about stars, constellations, so let's come to another topic that is the foundation of My Thoughts Are Stars, and you're the founder of it. So we'd like to know about its formation.
Sure. My thoughts of stars is like it's basically a startup, and it's like I'm still in the ideation stage. I'm still figuring out how to go ahead and get the ball rolling. But what I can say is it is the target audience will be Gen Z, and it has a threefold vision: uplift, invigorate, and fortify the dreams of Gen Z. So this will be done by creative content, YouTube clips, everything that will be short, sweet, and significant, so that Gen Zers won't have to like waste a lot of time in reading it or doing something like that. But I can't really reveal much because I'm still in the ideation stage and I'm still figuring out things. So that's all I can say at the moment. It's for Gen Z by Gen Z, and I'm hoping it to make a full-fledged startup soon. And yeah,
Yeah.
can't really reveal much.
And just like you said, for Gen Z and by Gen Z, so can I add one more line to it?
Definitely.
Yeah, so my line is it's to Gen Z, because I guess you've heard that for the people, by the people, to the people. So it's it's just like relating
Yes.
when the
For Gen
Clipper
Z,
Council of
by Gen
India,
Z,
yeah,
to Gen Z.
yeah, in the Clipper Council of India, I used to say that it's for the children, by the children, and to the children. It's just like that. So let
That's
us proceed to our last question for the day. So it's I'm gonna say that different kinds of talk show hosts interview explain personalities, as you've seen in English or Hindi or in your regional language, to provide a message to the upcoming generation, or we can say the uprising in one word. So I'd like to ask you today, what message you want to convey to your friends, brothers, and sisters who are yet to become an author or someone in the field of creativity moving forward.
good question. And I can't believe it's the end, like, it's the last question because I don't know how time flew. Uh, but I mean, what I would like to say to Gen Z is you have the potential, you have everything, the will, but all you need to do is flap your wings and take off for a mighty flight ahead. You have the will, you have your passion, and that's all it needs. If you have that, you won't need anything else, because you won't need other support or anything else for that matter, because you will have the will and you will figure out a way to do that. So I don't know if I'm putting this right, but Elon Musk has said something along these lines: if you have the will, then you will do it. You won't let the odds stop you. I don't know if this is right, but something he said
Yeah.
something along these lines. So that's a great quote. And That's what I want to convey to everyone. You have the will, so just be ready. And also, don't be a simple raven. Be an eagle, because if you just be same like how everyone is, then what's the difference and what's so special about it? Be special, be you, and magic will happen.
Thank you very much, Manasi, for those amazing answers. And I don't count them as answers, but it's a wonderful speech. If you could combine it up, and that really motivated and inspired me to proceed forward with my upcoming episodes. As because this is the ninth episode, or the eighth episode, even I have forgotten. Sorry for that. So yeah, so this is one of the because means I'm forgetting a lot of things at the moment, because I'm just your words are roaming around my mind, because about stars and constellations, even about literature, as an editor, as a blogger, as a book reviewer. And you are the author of The Cousin's Crime. And you're just we can say an all-rounder and a multi-talented wonder girl, as I mentioned. So thank you very much, Manasi. It was a pleasure having you.
Likewise, it was great interacting with you, and I'm looking forward to more and more events and collaborations we can like sort of do. So thank you everyone and for listening in, and thanks Riyadh for this wonderful
Yeah,
session. Thank you so
thank you.
much.
Have a nice day.
Yes, have a nice day too.